Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking into a really weird case. Took almost a decade to solve.
Yeah, that dead bear cub in Central Park back in October 2014.
Exactly. And then suddenly, August last year, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. just confesses.
It's quite the story. So let's get into it. Starts with these two women finding this young black bear cub.
Right. Under some bushes near a path. Only about, 44 pounds?
Yeah. Tiny. And the weird part, an old bicycle was kind of positioned over it.
Which immediately made it suspicious. I mean, a bear in Central Park is weird enough.
Totally. But the bike just screamed, staged, not natural.
So the police showed up, NYPD, and the state environmental guys, the DEC.
Right. Crime scene tape went up. Kennedy even remembers a helicopter being there.
Wow. And they sent the cub off for necropsy, basically an animal autopsy, up in Albany.
And dusted the bike for prints, trying to figure out, what happened here.
It was huge news. Front page stuff. And kind of ironic, his own niece, Tatiana Klossberg, was covering it for the Times.
Crazy. She had no idea her uncle was involved at that point.
So, silence for nearly 10 years. Then the New Yorker starts asking questions for a profile.
Their fact checkers called him up.
And he basically preempts them. Posts this video on ex-Twitter, back then, with Roseanne Barr saying, here's the real story.
He even said he expected it to be a bad story from the New Yorker. Trying to control the narrative, maybe?
Seems like it.
Yeah.
So what was his story?
Okay, so he claims he was upstate near Goshen in the Hudson Valley, heading out to go falconing in October 2014.
Falconing. Right.
And he sees a woman in a van hit this bear cub. He stops, finds the cub, quote, in very good condition, considering.
So he puts it in his van.
Yeah. And his first thought, he says, was maybe skinning it, keeping the meat. He mentioned needing a roadkill tag.
Which you usually get from, the police or DEC, right? Not just something you have.
Exactly. It's unclear if he ever got one. Anyway, he goes falconing, says he caught a lot of game.
Okay.
Then he rushes back to the city for a late dinner. Peter Luger's over in Brooklyn.
Right. Famous steakhouse.
And realizes he hasn't got time to drive back home to Westchester before catching a flight.
So the bear is still in the van this whole time?
Apparently. And that's when he and some friends who he says were drinking, though he wasn't hatched, this plan.
The prank.
The prank. Inspired, he claims, by all the media focus on bicycle accidents in the city, he had an old bike he wanted to toss anyway.
So they drive to Central Park and just dump the bear and put the bike on it?
Pretty much. Staged it to look like a cyclist hit the poor thing.
You called it amusing.
Yeah, but then he was apparently shocked by the huge response. Police, tape, helicopters.
The reaction you'd expect. And he worried about fingerprints on the bike.
He did. It seems like a pretty big disconnect between calling it amusing and then sweating about getting caught.
And then there was that photo the New Yorker got hold of. Him posing with the dead cub.
Yeah, fingers in its mouth, making a face. When they asked him about it, that's when he made that infamous brainworm quip.
Which just added another layer of weirdness to the whole thing.
Definitely. Public reaction was, mixed. Lots of jokes, memes. Some analysts thought it played into a sort of eccentric image.
Could cut both ways, I guess. Outsider appeal or just questionable judgment.
Right. Now, legally, what was the situation?
Well, the necropsy showed blunt force trauma, like from a car, no animal cruelty found beforehand.
Okay.
But the DEC made it clear. Dumping the body in Central Park, that's illegal under state law.
But he didn't get charged.
Nope. Statute of limitations. It's a 1-year limit for that likely violation. By 2024, it was long expired.
So legally in the clear, but ethically.
Yeah, using wildlife as a prop, causing public alarm, wasting resources, especially for an environmental lawyer, right? Yeah. Waterkeeper Alliance, PACE law.
And that wasn't his only controversy involving wildlife rules, was it? Didn't Riverkeeper have an issue?
Yeah, the William Wigner thing. Rehiring someone caught smuggling endangered cockatoo eggs. Another odd incident.
It does seem like there's a bit of a pattern here, doesn't it? These unusual wildlife stories.
He even said he picks up roadkill all the time, has a freezer full for his falcons and ravens.
And the whalehead story.
Oh, right, from the 90s. Decapitating a dead whale with a chainsaw near Hyannis Port, strapping the head to his minivan.
Driving it back to Mount Kisco. His daughter Kik told that story. Mentioned whale juice dripping.
Grim. That actually sparked the federal investigation. Marine Mammal Protection Act, Endangered Species Act.
He claimed it was politically motivated, cited the statute of limitations again.
And his cousin Caroline Kennedy alleged he used to blend baby chicks and mice for his hawks. Called it perverse.
Wow. Plus that Vanity Fair photo with some cooked animal. People thought it was a dog.
He said it was a goat from Patagonia. Fact checkers weren't totally convinced either way. It's just a lot.
It really is a collection of strange anecdotes. Is it genuine eccentricity or maybe, part of building a political image?
Hard to say.
Yeah.
The confession timing was interesting too, August 2024, during his independent presidential run.
Right before he endorsed Trump and got nominated for HHS secretary.
It definitely fueled that polarizing image. Authentic maverick to some, reckless or just bizarre to others. His poll numbers were pretty low by then anyway.
Single digits, yeah, after peaking earlier.
And you get this whole strange story ecosystem, as some called it. The bear, the whalehead, the roadkill freezer, the brainworm. It distracts from policy.
Which he apparently complained about, wanting to talk substance, not gossipy nonsense.
And the family dynamics are intense. His niece reporting on the mystery initially, then his cousin Caroline calling him a predator over the blender story, plus those questions about his residency and voting.
It all creates a very complex picture.
So wrapping up, we have the Central Park Bear Cub mystery, RFK Jr.'s eventual confession, framing it as a prank gone wrong, the statute of limitations saving him legally, and how this fits into this, broader pattern of really unusual interactions with wildlife.
It's quite a saga.
Definitely. It makes you think, doesn't it? When you consider his long career in environmental advocacy, right alongside these peculiar incidents, what does that tell you about public figures? How do we make sense of these seemingly contradictory parts of someone's life? Something to mull over.